Yes. So that is a description of the events of Rising Fest. That technically starts tomorrow and goes through an entire week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Food prices are still 2 to 3 times higher than their normal rate.
So, I suppose we gather, like in like a meeting room or something, like on the third day.
Yeah.
To discuss the events of the time.
Basically, when Leon arrives.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when Leon arrives. He's
probably
the
not
last one to arrive.
Probably not right after Leon comes back on the second day after traveling on horseback the entire day.
Well, yeah, actually, Dwohurim might want to talk to Leon when he comes back on horseback. Yeah, he's tired.
Well, you'll see. I guess you'll see Leon riding on horseback into the city. I guess Arcane College is somewhere.
It's more like Dwohurim will be sitting sort of, like there's like the hallways in Arcane College have these small like reading rooms at the end of each. He'll be sitting in that one. Assuming Liam will go into his room when he's ready to sleep or whatever. Sit there waiting for him, reading a book.
Very well. You'll be sitting there and you'll see Leon coming down the hallway with his new pet cat in his arms.
Oh. He'll sort of stand and dust himself off. He has all his stuff with him. So, Leon, had a nice trip.
Not exactly. Is something the matter? Looks to you curiously. Very tired.
You meet a friend of yours who wanted to give me, give you her regards. Any idea who that could be, Leon?
Well, if it's not the alchemist from Dragonhall, I'm not entirely sure.
It's someone we certainly had a lot of experience with, the two of us. I just thought we were on the same page with that whole thing.
Ah.
As it turns out, you might have known more than you told me.
No more than I told you.
Now might be a good time to complain about this sort of thing.
I'm not actually sure what you're talking about. We are talking about Lucidia Melkor, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we got that much.
So, is there anything about this whole affair, the undead picture of you she had, the fact that she travels all the way here to ensure that you're safe, because she could apparently feel that you were close to death? Is there anything about that you would like to explain now?
Nothing more than I've told you in the past. That she has connections to the Viscount Dwarf, which I have also told you I have connections to.
We know that. So what sort of connections are we talking here?
Her connections, I'm not sure of. My connections, it's working for him is one of the last things I can remember.
What exactly did you do for this undead monstrosity?
Pauses for a moment. Well, mostly originally I was just acting as a scout up north near Concord, just watching the roads.
For what exactly?
Travellers, people going past, keeping an eye out for anyone he told me to. Though, I quickly came to my senses of, what the hell am I doing?
I see.
Yet he still thinks I'm one of his pawns.
And are you?
I am not one of his pawns, even if he credits everything I do to him. Such as I have just recently found out that he has managed to acquire the missing Orb of Storms.
Ooh, when did you figure that out then?
During my trip the last few days.
Well, that's convenient, isn't it? Just as soon as I confront you about this, you can ask more information.
Go ask the Death Speaker yourself if you want. He saw it.
And that's all you know, all you remember? That room under the fountain, the sewers of Dragonhall? Nothing about that?
was the first time that I'd been in there to my knowledge, but on the
You
other
knew
hand,
way there, Leon.
it was a feeling, just this almost just tingling sense that I had been there, but I couldn't remember it.
I see. So, you'll have to tell the others all this, of course.
I could. I don't know what good it's going to do, except, well, I would like for the Viscount not to activate the Orb of Storms, but that's an obvious one.
Well, hopefully it goes as well for him as it went for the good guys.
The
I'd
difference
like
is,
to know.
the difference is a lich blowing himself up is less dangerous than, a town.
We've worked together long enough that I don't think you would be working for the Lich King, but looking back at it, there certainly has been a few times where his name has been uttered.
You really suspect me of working for the Lich King?
Is not knowingly.
They can call me their pawns. They can try and take a credit for every action that happens to be on their side, but I will not aid them. If I can, and I get the opportunity and the power, I will destroy the Viscount. Though, considering he's about to become prince, that might be difficult.
So Nostlands, as I say.
You can believe me if you want, or you can believe me if you don't. I don't really care.
I'll believe you for now. But do tell me if there's anything else. Don't keep secrets. We've been together for too long for that.
Leon strokes his cat slightly. Anything else you needed? Anything else you found out? Also, did she actually? Now considering, instead of just poking questions at me, why did you speak with her? What was the whole
She
thing
asked for me. She told me to keep you better. Keep you safe. It's like it sounded like you have a seed you planted and you pack the earth with hay so it'll be kept warm in the winter so that it can sprout when summer comes. That was the feeling I got. So if you feel something sprouting inside of you, just tell me.
Fine.
Also, as it turns out, Ajax is working for the three. Not that we already expected it, but...
And you have proof of this now?
No, not at all. Seems like him.
So there's just no one of your wild theories?
Yes, it is.
Well, I can consider that once I get some rest. You know how uncomfortable it is to ride on horses for so long?
Right, pony. Rounder. No, just take up and walk away to talk to the Death Speaker.
So he's not here?
Say.
Well, you're going to have to go to Killwell.
Oh, that's true.
Convenient, isn't it?
We'll go look for the Death Speaker and find out he's not there. And then he'll go to his room and think. Waiting for the next day. Where I assume we will all meet.
Yep.
In one of the small meeting rooms of the academy. It'll probably be in the morning, so Dwohurim will not be the first one to get there.
Right.
Although he won't be as usual. He won't be his usual sort of morning late. It will actually be on time.
Leon will be there rather early. Now with his pet cat. Just waiting for all of you.
Geráck will
Enjoying
be
it.
there once his armor is on.
Oh yes, how long it takes to put on full plate.
Yeah. Maybe half an hour or something like that.
The glory of having like a chain shirt.
Not only.
Aurelia shows up or no?
I appear to have been muted. That makes a lot of sense.
I asked you.
Aurelia is likely one of the earliest to show up, as she does tend to wake up rather early, coming into the meeting room with a sort of file, I guess is the right word, a sort of thing where she can organize all her papers. And as she sees each of you come in, she will take a look inside of her file, comparing you to her paper, nodding just a little bit, and closing the file again, sitting down, waiting.
What is that?
Hey,
You've been looking
drawing.
at that quite a bit. Drawing.
Of course. Do you want to see it?
Leon will nod, rising from his seat to come over and have a look.
Or I will pick out the drawing of Leon and show it to him. It is not a fancy artistic vision, and it is not all that fancy. It is essentially a charcoal sketch on a medium-sized piece of paper. It is simplistic, but certainly displays Leon reasonably well. And it is little more than that, really. And DDS is gone.
Yeah. Well, Dwohurim will come in. Probably the last person. Maybe at the same time as Geráck, and then go and sit down. Looking annoyed as always in the morning. Frowning at everyone, especially Leon.
Good morning.
There we go.
Morning. So, I suppose we've all been very active during these few days. First and foremost, he'll pick out the card from Everett Lavelle. Get out your best.
Mm-hmm.
Let everyone read it. We're going to a wedding.
A wedding? Why?
Because Everett Lavelle has invited us, of course.
Right.
Invited me, and I can bring you. There might be people there who it will be good to meet.
I see.
Nonetheless, he is an ally of ours who has, whom we have acquired with a rather high price. Engagement, dinner reception, all right. A dinner, then.
A bachelor party, I see.
Well, I'm not entirely sure that's the... Perhaps not as our people would do it. Correct.
Perhaps not.
Heard of hog riding or anything like that.
No.
Regardless, I'm sure it'll be a pleasant affair. Something we can think about while we eat the cake, and whatever else is served is, of course, the girl being tortured by a dragon in Dragon Hall.
Yes.
Looks, I still haven't gotten to, or perhaps the people suffering under the claw of the Black Fang. Still haven't dealt with either. Have any more
Oh,
unpleasant things popped up that we have to deal with?
well, I have some things. Firstly, you mentioned Everett Lavelle We're going his arrangement.
Yes.
Interesting that actually.
It
Because
seemed
I
like
received
that was
I received a minor request from the priesthood. Well,
Oh.
a deal almost. Well, they are looking for a true magical item which apparently he holds.
I think
If
many
there's-
people would be.
It's a very particular item. Let's have a look. Leon reaches down his bag and flips through papers. I know it's in here somewhere. Where is it?
Is it perhaps the Dream of the Light?
Not quite. Not quite.
What? Excuse
The
me. What?
Eternal Ring. Here it is. The Eternal Ring of the Cathedral.
I see.
There are a few of. Apparently, there are more than one, but Everett holds one of them, and
And
God damn it. Oh, the suspense.
did I break up?
Yep.
Yes.
and
Okay, how far did it go before it stopped?
and
Can I have more context to the word and?
You mentioned the ring, then something else, and then end. I don't remember.
Okay, let's make it really difficult. I don't know where I should stop.
he has the eternal ring of the cathedral, and
Yeah.
The church has offered quite the. Well, they've offered us the deal of if we can obtain it for them, they would be they would allow us to pull some strings and, well, if we needed to get a bit of aid getting around the bureaucracy of the city, which has been something we've run into quite a bit recently.
yes. It's also the matter of keeping you safe, Leon. She looks to him with telling eyes.
Looks across with squinting his eyes slightly. Keeping me safe. I'm not a child.
We spoke of this the other day, Leon. It especially requested by Cilia Melkor that we keep you safe.
Since when do you listen to her after all the things we fought back and forth back?
Point. So it looks to the others. You had a little incident, yes?
Little incident.
Is this important?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by instant.
Hermes frowned deeply and says, as it turns out, Leon has been in the past working for the Lich King and still has direct connections to a Lich Count and, well, his servants.
Leon punches his hands on the table. I am not directly connected to him.
As it turns out, they know when you're being wounded.
If he is still connected to them, at least he is a bad liar.
Looks round to everyone who's now looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Geráck is eyeing you very closely.
I may have worked for them once, but never again. I do not hold any allegiance to them. Is there a reason you're bringing this up to Rohirrim?
I think they should know. He looks at the others. Do you think you should know?
Well, it's certainly a good thing to know, yes.
Is it our past that defines us or our actions in the present?
Sean says, exactly. A good point. Brings us to the next thing that Cilia Melkor told me. As it turns out, Ajax has obtained his position. So look around. You know Ajax, yes?
Yes.
Has obtained the position he has through murdering his old master. He's done this in a rise of power that has been incredibly quickly, and as it turns out, there have been suggestions that this power has been gained from bargaining with the three. wrath druidism, as it happens. He looks to Aurelia. Something that happens in Dragon Hall, right?
It does, indeed. It does not surprise me in its entirety. If he does want to cause a war, that would certainly help the Black Fang, I would assume.
Dwohurim, why don't you roll a d6 for me?
I shall do that. It's a 2.
Okay. Alright. Nothing...
You gain a Griffin God.
Nothing gained, nothing lost. Then you guys can continue.
All right, that's ominous. So I can say, right. So, it's a problem we need to take care of. If he is indeed in leagues with the Black Fang, it should show in his combat abilities and in his form. Be warped or twisted.
So we wouldn't know until it was too late then.
We would have to engage him, force him to show his true self, then defeat him. He himself would be proof.
Sheep, why don't you go ahead and roll a 1d6 and a 1d6 for me, separately.
2 d6s.
Yes, just separate. Okay. Nothing gained, nothing lost. Continue.
Feels like there's some word I shouldn't say.
Is
I
there
don't know
another
if they cap in their nose.
Is there another way we could perhaps force him to show his true self without combat?
I couldn't imagine. If he did, he would lose his position. The High Druid would not appreciate his selling out, I imagine. Warmongering.
Dark, if you're there, why don't you go ahead and roll a d6 for me? Alright. Well, this is a confluence of esoterica that Leon, just because of the Order of the Forbidden Lore, happens to know. Chaos sort of creatures, which, come to think of it, as would have been described to him, and as he saw himself, would include, like, say, like those warped beasts he saw down in the Dungeon of Creel, and maybe that crazy, like, island of flesh tentacled thing that the Deaf Speaker talked about in the water. Those would be, that would be probably the largest of chaos beasts. The priestess sees too much suffering because of the beasts and wants them wiped out. She suspects someone is creating them on purpose, be it a dark god or rival icon. She's decided that using adventurers for this task is the best option. Protecting everyone from the horror of the beasts, even those who she dislikes, is a top priority for her.
I think it is something we would have to deal with. If we engage him, defeat him, and he turns out to not use any chaos powers, it should, one, be rather trivial, and secondly, we do not have to kill him. If the tip is true, however, he will try to kill, well, me, of all people, having that been his induction, you could say, test for further power.
Each of you who have relationship dice with the Archmage, you may now roll a d6, or however many d6s you've got with the Archmage.
Oh, I feel left out.
For those of you who got a 5 or a 6, the Archmage also has a stance and attitude, a vested interest in these Chaos Beasts. Something is letting these creatures into our plane of existence. The Archmage would like to know what. Is it common spells? Botched experiments? Willful summoning? The common theory among the Archmage's organization is that the other icons are not taking the proper precautions when they dabble in magic above their understanding, whereas the Archmage's experiments are carefully controlled, and while there are accidents, none of them are responsible for such heinous creatures. And if he found evidence to the contrary, the Archmage would take the appropriate punitive measures, surely. The beasts should be eliminated, but they could also be studied. And unfortunately, caging them, it seems more or less impossible for those who are not already experienced wizards. As such, you would also know, with your combined knowledge and consideration of these creatures, especially since most of you did confront one directly, it is a shambling creature infused with an abundance of chaotic energy. Looking at the beast directly is almost painful, as it is constantly shifting, twisting, and changing. And of course gets its name roughly from its general shape, which tends to change by the minute. The ends of its limbs can become claws, chicken feet, paws, or some combination. It emits a howl that turns into a bird's cry and then a cat's hiss. These chaos beasts tend to become more dangerous as larger ones will actually fuse the flesh of each other together into a larger one, with the presumably the one that you faced out there floating in the Midland Sea was the largest one, a chaos behemoth. And it actually has the power, these chaos creatures, to warp people they've recently slain, have a chance to warp into chaos creatures as well. However, there is no immediate connection or explanation as to how Ajax could somehow be like a chaos beast or a creature infused with infested with chaos.
It is simply too risky to take the chance. If needs be, if it turns out we're wrong, I will probably be punished. That will be necessary in order for the Archmage to distance himself from my actions. Our actions.
That be all that happens?
As if we do not kill him, I think so.
Freshly gained power often leads to arrogance. Perhaps you could simply antagonize him to the point where he shows off.
Confronting him in a place where he will not risk being seen by, well, many people should, according to the source, simply make him want to destroy us. Me especially. He's always been arrogant, and in every single one of our prior meetings, he has won. So, it's unlikely that he would be afraid of us.
He would probably seek us out then.
Yes, however, I would rather deal with him sooner rather than later. Whatever he has planned here, it seems I've at least heard Lotaraptor's people talk, and for every meeting he has with him, he becomes weaker and weaker in both body and mind.
Where is he
Should he
located
break and give in to whatever it is Ajax wants? We could see disarmament of many wards facing the Wildwood. War simply becoming a reality.
Where is he located now?
Do not know.
Dwohurim would know without a doubt that Ajax and Lord Taraptus would be speaking with each other as of this very moment.
They're speaking with each other as of this very moment. He will leave in a certain number of hours. And, well, we could follow him. Outside of the city, he leaves the city every day.
If we're anywhere
Out there,
nearby,
confront him.
if we're anywhere nearby, we will know when he leaves. It's normally quite the exit.
I see.
We could, of course, also choose to interrupt the meeting.
Probably
I
not.
don't think that would end well.
Doesn't necessarily have to. If he is...
Enough damage has been done to the Arcane.
If he's a
College, I feel.
chaos beast, then it really does not matter what kind of situation we fuse. It's more important that we free Lord Raptors from his chaotic influence. You've noticed him. He seemed to be almost giving up. He cannot take much more.
Yes.
Most powerful servant of the Archmage here. If he falls, then this city falls.